All right, welcome back, everybody. And our next guest on the bench is Dave Schunk. And Dave is currently the president and CEO of Volunteers of America. But before that, he was the CFO here at Denver Rescue Mission. And we're just so happy that he would grace us and come back to Denver Rescue Mission. But Dave, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dennis. It's great to be here. This is a beautiful place, and it's even better.
You
now.
helped to build it.
I know, except for the elevator, right? The elevator wasn't
That's true.
me. Oh,
That's
wait a
true.
minute, it was me.
The elevator was you.
I
Yeah,
know.
We could use some elevator improvements, but we won't hold that against you.
Well, that's okay. You know, everyone needs to know that he made me walk up the stairs because of the elevator issues and the elevator that I built. And you know what? I needed the exercise, so it was good.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, well, it was fair. So I think it'd be cool just to share a little bit about your journey and what got you into this kind of work. And
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. For me, it was I was in a business career. I had come out of University of Denver with an MBA, got into banking. And one of the things that we preach, and I learned this at the Denver Rescue Mission, is the power of relationships, right?
Yeah.
And so let me tie my story a little bit in with that of the folks we serve. Many folks in homelessness don't have a connection, a positive connection.
Right.
Or they don't have a positive relationship or someone to call in their network. Well, for me, in my business career, I started at United Banks of Colorado. And there was a guy there by the name of Brad Miley.
Really? I've heard of him.
Yeah, that you have. And Brad was my boss. And we worked together.
He was your boss at the bank?
Yeah, at the bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we worked together for about 6 years. And I went on then to go do other things. And Brad even said to me, "You're going to go out and conquer the world. I know you are." And I looked at him. I said, someday, Brad, maybe we'll work together again. And he's in banking. I go off into the technology space and private equity and those kind of things. And now, fast forward 15 years, and Brad's now the CEO of the Denver Rescue Mission and just growing this and doing wonderful things. And he asked me to be on the board.
Yeah.
And I was like, that classic, I'm too busy, I can't. But he was persistent. Brad doesn't take no well.
No, he doesn't.
So he continued to persist. I ended up on the board, and then one day he came to me and said, "Dave, you know a lot of CFOs in town. We need a new CFO." The legendary CFO that he had, Kevin, before had gone on to a new job. And he said, "Hey, let's meet this was on a Friday. He said, let's meet on Monday. And give me your Rolodex of CFOs." I said, "You got it."
Yeah.
I go home and I made Dennis the fatal mistake. And you know what that is? I told my wife
Yeah.
about my meeting.
Yep.
And she goes, "Well, what about you?" And I said, "Wait a minute, honey. We got 3 kids in college. Well, we actually had 2 kids in college and 1 at Valor, which was worse than college."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in terms of money. But and so I'm saying, we have 3 kids in college essentially, and I sit on the finance committee of the Denver Rescue Mission. I know what the CFO makes. We can't do it.
Right.
And she looks at me and she says, "We're going to fast and we're going to pray over the weekend."
Wow.
And we did, and I felt God tugging on me, and it was just such a time as this.
Yeah.
So anyway, get to the restaurant with Brad on that Monday, and he goes, "So, what are my names? You got some names for me?" I go, "Yeah, me." And he looks at me. He was just about ready to put some eggs in his mouth, and he just drops the fork. I go, "Well, that didn't go good." And he goes, I would love it if you would do this." He goes, "You're going to get bored." And I go, "No, I don't think I will." He goes, "Yeah, you're going to get bored." I go, "Well, listen, I'd like to try to negotiate for something." He goes, "Well, our budget's tight, things, you know what the CFO makes."
Right.
I go, "I like to try to negotiate something. It's in my nature." And he says, "Okay, go." I go, "Well, I've sat in the chair here where Kevin has sat, and that chair is really no good. I want a new chair." And he looks at me and he goes, "Nope." I go, "Okay." And we're good.
And so you came anyway.
I came anyway. Bad chair and all, and it was the best 7 years of my career.
Wow.
I mean, we're having some wonderful years here, too, at Volunteers of America. But those 7 years really changed my life, and what I saw, the work that was being done here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and I obviously wasn't here when you were here, but I can't go too long at Denver Rescue Mission without somebody talking about you.
Uh-oh.
And honestly, right? They talk about you in terms of your work as a CFO and what you did. But more importantly, they talk about you as a person and as a follower of Jesus and how you made them feel. And
that's nice.
And that's a legacy, right? That's a legacy.
I don't know. I mean, I learned from great mentors, Brad being one. But I thank you for saying that. again, this is a special place for me. Can I share one memory
Please
related
do.
to Denver Rescue Mission? So I had been asked by University of Denver to give a commencement speech for the MBAs. And I said, I will only talk about Denver Rescue Mission. Now, keep in mind, I had just started at the Denver Rescue Mission. So we're talking probably 2012 now, somewhere around there. And so I give the speech and talk about the rescue mission, all the things we're doing at the farm and everything else, all the great work.
Yep.
And it really focused just on relationship and accountability and just making sure that the people that we served have the dignity because that they are worthy of it. It's carpe diem. They are made in the image of God. And we are the Imago Dei, sorry.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm not the one that's been up for 24 solid hours.
That's all right.
So anyway, very quickly, this at the end of my speech, there's a line of folks that come up, and I'm having a nice conversation. One young lady comes up, and she says, you guys saved my dad's life.
Wow.
And I said, oh, that's wonderful. What's he doing now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Put shoe in my mouth, really, because she goes, well, he died. He died of an overdose. He was at the farm. And I said, well, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like we succeeded. And she goes,
Right.
oh, no, you did. And let me explain. She goes, for the years that he was at the farm and for the 3 years after before he passed, he and I formed a relationship that we never had before.
Wow.
We went on walks together.
Wow.
And he told me he loved me.
Yeah.
He never said that before. He did that. And because of that, look at me now. And I go, look at you now. You're graduating with an MBA from a prestigious University of Denver. Look at you now. And she goes, that would not have happened if it weren't for my dad being with me for a season. And as a CFO, we look at, CFOs, we look at the world in ones and zeros.
Yes, you do.
Things like that, right? But this is where 1 + 1 was not 2, but 1 + 1 was amazing. It was a response that I said, I never thought of that. She said, you gave me my dad back for a season. And I think success is, whether it's a lifetime or a season, if we can transform lives you're doing, like Denver Rescue Mission's doing, like you're doing, Dennis. You know what? Good things happen, whether it's a season or longer than that.
Yeah. And those stories, we hear them so often, right? I was on an airplane not too long ago, and I had Denver Rescue Mission jacket on, and the flight attendant, she goes, you saved my brother's life. And I'm like, I did? And she's like, well, Denver Rescue Mission did. I'm like, okay. And she had a very similar story, right? Is her brother was addicted and on the streets and no hope, and came to Denver Rescue Mission, went through the New Life program and graduated from there, and was still living, but he was sober. And she's like, nothing else worked before that.
Yeah,
and she's like,
beautiful.
You guys did that.
Yeah.
So of course then I wanted to say, well, could I get moved up to first class? But that didn't
work.
happen. Didn't work. No, I was still back in coach. But right.
I love that story.
Okay, so people that are watching now or might be watching later, they may not know what VOA is. So give us your spiel of Volunteers of America.
Yeah, it's nice of you to give me that opportunity. VOA, Volunteers of America, is a nationwide effort. It's a federation of affiliates that are all separate. They have their own board of directors, their own mission, if you will. But we have a commonality, and it's very similar to the Denver Rescue to the rescue missions here nationwide. And our mission basically is to go wherever we're needed and to do whatever the community has as a top priority. And so we actually were part of the Salvation Army. And 130 years ago, we split off from the Salvation Army. And the son of the founder of Salvation Army and his wife, Maud Booth, were really the inspiration for Volunteers of America. And so for 130 years, and Colorado was one of the starting operations. They had 3, New York, Louisiana, and Colorado. And in Colorado, we really developed a place for the homelessness in the sense of providing housing. And so it's always been, we've had a shelter, just like the rescue mission has. We've had a shelter on Larimer in downtown for 130 years, in some form or another along Larimer. And so all forms of housing, we go shelter, we do transitional, and we're one of the state's largest affordable housing providers. And then the second thing is nutrition, just like Denver Rescue Mission. We're very similar in this way. We use nutrition or food as an opportunity to create a relationship, and then that relationship an opportunity to transform a life. So we're a faith-based ministry. We serve about 100,000 Coloradans every year in housing, nutrition. We have one of the largest Meals on Wheels programs in the country. And then through Connection, we have about 40 Connection programs we run. My favorite one is foster grandparents. Let me check this one out. This is pretty cool. So we go to the seniors. One of our big callings is to the senior community. Seniors that have been cast aside, they're lonely, they're isolated, they're usually by themselves. They're usually homebound and can't get out.
Right.
And so we go and recruit these seniors. We work with them. We train them. We transport them, and we bring them into the inner city schools of Denver and Aurora. And the teachers love it because now they can focus more on teaching.
Love it.
The kids love it because the kids get somebody that's safe and goofy. And, that is I know this because I now have 5 grandkids, just got 2 more in July. The definition of grandpa, right? Safe and goofy. He's the guy that shows up with, in shorts with big socks up to the knees.
Yeah, I'm sure you play that well.
Oh, I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we run this program, and the kids just love it, and the teachers love it. The benefit is really with the seniors. They come out, and you can just see suddenly the dignity fill them up.
Yeah.
Because they're now important, and they have so much to give.
Yes.
So much to give our society.
So much to give, and it's that win-win, right? To your point, the teacher gets to teach, the kids love it, but then it's meaningful for the grandparents that are doing this. That sometimes our society says, well, your day is done, right? There's nothing more from you. Well, there's a lot more from them, and more that we need from them.
So true. I mean, I think about what you are leading the way here in Denver, by the way, the idea of prevention, which is something I know you're teaching me on. But you think about it, Dennis, foster grandparent program is truly a prevention program.
It is.
Because here we have inner city kids that are often they're not coming from healthy families often, not always. But now they get an opportunity to come with somebody who's just going to be there to encourage and love them.
Yeah.
And we get the most amazing videos, from moms and dads that are filming their 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, and how they're just like, I love you, Mrs. Jones. You're the best.
That is so cool.
And I look at it as a form of prevention. This is preventing, perhaps because of that relationship with the grandparent and the kid, maybe preventing somebody going down a path that's not healthy. And of course, again, you guys are doing that.
Yeah, but I really love that take on it because I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. Okay, so our organizations are a part of HLC, which is Homelessness Leadership Council. And then we also, you and I and our program people, as well as Salvation Army and Catholic Charities, we have a strong relationship, and we get together regularly, and we talk about things, and we strategize and look at ways to partner. So my question is, there's a lot of people who, wherever I've been in the nonprofit sector, one of the things that you hear from sort of the general public is there's too much duplication and all of that. And you mentioned earlier, right? VOA has shelters, Denver Rescue Mission has shelters. We both do nutrition. So what would you say to people that say, well, you're just all the same duplicating?
Yeah, great question. I think at the places I've traveled everywhere across the United States and seeing how different communities do it, I think this community does it the best.
I agree.
And it's mainly how we coordinate. And so to your really good question, because someone hearing me talk earlier would say, oh, Volunteers of America, Colorado is the same as Denver Rescue Mission.
Right.
Oh, but we're not.
We're not.
I mean, where we're the same is that we love Jesus.
Yep.
And we're following that path. But where we differ is, for example, no one is better, I believe, than Denver Rescue Mission in providing shelters to large group of men, the largest population in homelessness, and no one does it better. And I think also you guys do incredible transitional housing type work. Where we focus on is much smaller groups. So we focus, for example, on, we have a shelter called the Sit-in Sanctuary on Santa Fe that is focused, there's only 20 women in there. And these are 55 and older women that are veterans.
Wow.
And so for them, we couldn't do what you do, running a incredible large contact shelter and getting those guys on a path to recovery and so on, where we're more focused on smaller groups, typically women, and or veteran type status. And so there's, I always say that humans are complex, so the solutions to homelessness need to be complex.
Yes.
And so when we say we're both in shelters, one of the things that we do at the Homeless Leadership Council and also at, we call it the Big Four.
Right.
At Catholic Charities, Denver Rescue Mission, Volunteers of American Salvation Army, we coordinate. And we know. So we know where you're going, and then we don't go there.
Yeah.
Or if we can help you, we partner. And I think the communication, the coordination, the collaboration between our groups keeps us from overlapping. There's really very little overlap.
Yeah.
So for example, we're big in affordable housing.
Right.
We have 26 communities, and Denver Rescue Mission decides to go there. We'll figure out places that we're not.
Right.
Because the need is great, and we're not everywhere.
That's exactly it. And the need is great. There is enough work for all of us to do, but then these partnerships, these relationships do keep us from that duplication. And I agree with you. I've lived in many other cities, and I do think Denver does it the best in terms of coordination, collaboration, partnership, reducing duplication of services, being effective and efficient. And that's a blessing to be here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you look at our other services. You all feed so many folks right on the streets of Denver. Those that are most in need. We're feeding seniors.
Yeah.
And so ours, the way, and this is what way I've explained it before, Denver Rescue Mission especially, but I'd say also Salvation Army, a little bit Catholic Charities. You guys are at the point of the spear in terms of homelessness. You were right there. These are folks in homelessness that you're dealing with. We're Volunteers of America, we do some of that, very small, targeted segments of the population that others haven't been able to serve. But really where we are people that are on the edge of homelessness.
Yes.
These seniors who would be the most vulnerable if they fell into that.
Yeah.
I mean, many of these folks can't move. They can't walk very far. And so our focus on our nutrition program is Coloradoans that are seniors, so 55 and over, homebound. We want them to age out in their home and with the dignity that provides. We do a lot of congregate dining, so we will bring dinner to a place, and then we ask our seniors to come down to that and stay.
For community.
And play some bingo. Yeah. We're pretty good at bingo, by the way. We're pretty good at bingo.
Now, does that interfere with watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune? Or?
It does.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But, that's great. On a serious note, though, it was interesting. After COVID, it's really been hard dragging them out. The things that COVID did to psychologically, and I think to our seniors also. But it's amazing. You see them start to come out slowly. At first, they were doing grab and go. They'd come out to our meals and grab it and go. And we're like, no, that's not the purpose. Stay.
Yeah.
We want community. We want relationship to happen. But now, 5 years on from COVID, 4 years, we're starting to see them come out and enjoy it. And now you start to see conversations pick up, and it's pretty neat to see.
Yeah. And what you were just describing again, that's also prevention.
Yeah.
Right? These seniors that are almost there, and housing or food insecurity, things like that. Yeah. So that's also, you're doing more prevention than you think you are.
Yeah, we're going to follow your lead, because you've got some pretty cool programs going on with your beta projects.
We're working on it. We're working on it, right?
Projects.
You mentioned Brad Miley, and he was here for 25 years, and it was funny. I asked Brad to come on the bench. He's like, yeah, I'll absolutely do it. And then he's like, when is it? And I told him today. He's like, yeah, I can't do that. I'm going to be out of town. I'm like, it must be nice to be retired.
Yeah. Exactly. But he did show up for your golf tournament.
He did show up for he wasn't out of town.
Can't
for
blame
the
guy.
golf
I can't blame him for that.
No. So earlier, a few minutes ago, you said solutions to homelessness. So from your perspective, what are the solutions to homelessness?
Yeah, great question. And again, I'll go back to what I learned here. I was on a stage with a guy by the name of Don Burns, who is a writer, prolific writer and authority on homelessness, and he talks about social isolation or relational poverty.
Yeah. And
I mentioned that at the start. And what Denver Rescue Mission is all about is putting positive connections, positive relationships in the path, if you will, of those experiencing homelessness. So I think one of the number one things that any of us can do is to establish even baseline relationships.
Right.
I've gotten a number of letters. I'm sure you have too in your career, where I've had. I'm thinking of one now. A guy named Doug in our Durango community center, community shelter, and he says in his letter, thank you for helping me, and he goes, at my biggest point of need, you saw me.
Yes.
To be seen.
Yes.
And I think to answer your first answer to your question, I would say all of us, any of us, even that smile, even that hello,
yeah,
even rolling down the window at the stoplight with the individual there, I don't think you have to give them money.
Right.
But I think a nice hello. You might get a grumpy look back.
You could.
You could, but I always tell people, if you had slept the night before on the sidewalk with a cardboard blanket, you might be a little grumpy, but still you've done some good.
You have.
So I think from that to longer-term relationships, I think that's critical and for all of it. And I think getting people into housing, stability there is important. But the key is, and I think our federal government, there's some issues here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of money for housing.
Right.
But there's not a lot of money for support and services around that housing.
Right.
You put somebody in a home and leave them, about 5% of them will do well.
Right.
Single mom, no drugs, loses her job for
Yep.
no reason. She's going to be good. She's going to be most likely good.
Yeah.
But 95% of that population, you put them in a house and you walk away, it's not good.
No, it's not. And I was sharing, everything's blurring together because I haven't slept and I'm grumpy now. But one of the conversations we were talking about that, and we were saying when you haven't slept, right? When or you've slept somewhere that wasn't appropriate or whatever that is, you can't make these other decisions, right?
That's right.
But also, when you think about housing, I know people in my career who did get that housing, and some of them walked away from it within a month. And you know why they walked away?
Yeah,
Loneliness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because out here, I have community, right? I have friends, I have a group of people, and then I get put in this apartment and I can't have people stay with me and I can't do that. And four walls can be deafening.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well said.
Yeah.
It definitely can be. What is the stat I heard? We're the most loneliest, the 55 and over, the most loneliest generation ever. And the long-term effects of loneliness and isolation are equivalent to smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day or a case of beer a day. And that's neither one of those is good.
Neither one of those is
and
good.
And so
that's right.
it's sort of the silent killer.
Yeah.
To your point. Well said.
Yeah. And we know that the over 55 is one of the fastest growing demographics of homelessness, right? And it all is intertwined.
Yeah, it is. And that is something that where Volunteers of America, where our focus is much more on that senior population.
Yeah.
We have huge opportunities. I do feel like in America, and I don't think it's intentional. I don't. Mm-hmm. But unlike other cultures, we kind of toss the wisdom and the worth of the senior population, and instead of going back and asking them, hey, we need you.
Yeah, we do.
Like
need
the
you.
foster grandparent program and many others. And we have a huge Volunteers of America, so we have a huge volunteer.
Right.
So we manage 15,000 volunteers across the state of Colorado.
Wow.
For us and for other agencies. Yeah. And I know Denver Rescue Mission has a huge volunteer base, and you guys do so well with that. But those volunteers, we look at as our mission to provide. And so a lot of our volunteers are over 55.
Yeah.
And it's life-saving for them.
It is.
Because it gets them back in the community, and they're able to share with people what their life lessons have been.
Yeah, and it gives them purpose. Yeah. Right? And, I think that there's so much that we could learn about that, right?
Yeah.
And even if you look in the Bible, right? Our elders, we're supposed to revere them and learn from them and
so
not
true.
sort of discard them and throw them in the corner until they pass away.
Yeah.
They're a resource. They're a blessing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
certainly is the case.
Yeah. So, talk a little bit more about the role that, from your perspective, that faith plays in our ministries.
Yeah. So what you asked that earlier question about solutions.
Yeah.
And again, things that I learned here at the Denver Rescue Mission. I'm telling you, they got it. They got the key.
We're going to put that on a T-shirt for you.
You should. But also things that we are doing at Volunteers of America is to have something that's a higher power in your life, something that is your cause. I think it was Eldridge that said, every man needs a job to do, a hill to climb, and a woman to love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And on the hill to climb, that's the purpose. I mean, we all need a job, and that's important. But the hill to climb is that purpose, is that something that's over and above your life. And I think faith, to your question, is so critical.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think there can be other powers and other things that you push for that are beyond yourself. It could be family. It could be, it could be your work, I suppose. but I don't think there's anything more transformative than faith in a God like we know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think if we can provide that faith, and I'm looking out at your truck with hope on it,
Uh-huh.
and if we can provide that hope and that faith to the people we serve, I think I think that's key to all of this.
Yeah.
Relationships, a place to be stable.
That's right.
And then after that, it's hope and faith. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. All right, so in the couple of minutes we have left, let's circle back to the elevator.
I knew I wasn't going to get off the hook on this one.
Yeah, so
things are rather up and down on that. So
things are a little up and down, yeah, and it, things are moving a little slowly.
Well said.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, just kidding. But during your what's one thing from your time at Denver Rescue Mission that you sort of say, wow, what a blessing that I was a part of that?
Yeah, it's so remember when I said, Brad early on said, before I'd even been hired, he goes, you're going to get bored and leave.
Right, yeah.
And I said, Brad, let's just give it a year and see. Oh, my gosh. Within that next 2 years, we moved out of our old location, under the bridge, under I-70, and over to this beautiful, amazing building. And then so that's happening. Then meanwhile, Reverend Thiebaud, who ran the Fort Collins Rescue Mission, he was getting ready to retire, and there were some challenges there, and the state came to us and said, we'd like you to run the Fort Collins Rescue Mission. So I'm like, so that's happened. Brad says, go do that, Dave. So he allows me to do the CDOT thing with moving the building over here, and we had all that process going on. Then the Fort Collins thing happened, and then we're right on the heels of both of those. We did the Lawrence Street Community Center.
Wow.
And I remember we were doing a capital campaign for that, and we'd been praying about it. We had a huge financial gap, and Brad was amazing. He calls me one day. I'm driving down from the mountains, and he says, Dave, we just got the gap closed. And it was a God thing. And there was a wonderful family in Wyoming that had been they had some involvement with Denver Rescue Mission a long time ago. This goes back to relationships.
Yeah, that's right.
And they just remembered how they made the Denver Rescue Mission made them feel. And she wanted to donate $2 million to the project, and that's all we needed.
Wow.
So those are the things I remember financially, but I think really just changing lives in the name of Christ.
Yeah.
Those are the things I remember.
Yeah.
I got to do the Bible study with the men in the
nice.
crossing, and it was one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, I am so grateful, first of all, for your friendship, and also that you've come to sit on the bench with us.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Grateful for your history and all you're doing with VOA, and you guys are just great partners, and we're just so thankful for you.
Can't think of a better partner to go into battle with than Denver Rescue Mission and you, Dennis.
Likewise, man.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Thanks,
you. Dave.
Hang in there for the rest of this time.
All right, yeah, we're in the home stretch almost. So we'll be right back with another guest.